come on over here. Hey, you've been picked out of the pack, boy. You're about to have a new home.
Max!
Sarah? Hi. Gosh, how are you?
Craig, I haven't seen you in ages.
You look different.
So what, you're on your way to work too?
I am. New World Imports, first day.
Wow, New World, that's impressive.
You've heard of them?
Absolutely.
Right.
So what division are you going to be working in?
Customer service.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I asked for it. I figure it's got to be the best way to find out what people out there really want, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Listen, I gotta run, but let's have lunch sometime.
Yeah.
Catch up on old times.
I like that.
See ya.
Bye.
Meet Max and Max. You wouldn't know it at first glance, but Max and Max have very similar stories. Max was born to purebred parents of the finest stock. The kennel, where he was raised, had an impeccable reputation for preparing puppies to move on to an owner who would then train them to become solid, reliable hunting dogs. Max was born into a hardworking family where there was a strong emphasis on education. Max loved school, did well, and received a scholarship to a noted university, graduating with honors. So here we have Max and Max, both prepared, full of enthusiasm, and ready to make a contribution. Max couldn't wait to meet his new master. He imagined himself on a crisp autumn morning, moving slowly through the tall grass. Suddenly, he locks onto the scent of a game bird. The voice of his master rings out in praise. Good boy, Max. What a dog. Likewise, Max could just see himself, after several fulfilling months on the job, enter his workstation one day to the applause of his fellow workers. There, placed on the keyboard of his computer, is a plaque recognizing him as Customer Service Rep of the Year. Such were the dreams of Max and Max, dreams of service and meaningful contribution. Enter into our story Mr. Harold. Mr. Harold is the manager of the customer service department at New World Imports. He's also the new owner of a hunting dog. When Mr. Harold picked up Max, it was a happy occasion.
If you've got all these really great ideas, then put them to work in your own department, okay?
Likewise, when Max arrived at New World on his first day, Mr. Harold greeted him in an atmosphere of great warmth and welcoming. Mr. Harold talked to Max about his new home, about hunting, and about, well, life in general. Max listened. In his office, Mr. Harold told Max about the company's goal to put the customer first. Service, 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 he said, as he showed him a nice custom version of the department mission statement hanging on his wall. And Max listened. Time went by.
You ready to work on our basic skills this morning, boy?
Max learned quickly. Sit, stay, lie down, front. All these were performed without hesitation.
More than anything else, I want you to learn to stay on the lawn. Got that? I didn't buy you to go running and jumping in the water any old time you want. That's for me to decide.
Then why did you buy me? He thought. Meanwhile, Max became intimately familiar with the higher meaning of practices and procedures.
And they request something that falls outside of the guidelines. What do you say?
I say, I'm sorry, ma'am, or sir, but company policy doesn't allow me to do that. What is that referring to in this case, sir?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
Absolutely
Then
not.
why did you hire me, he thought. And time went by.
I told you not to leave the lawn. Now, what are you doing down here? Now, you get right back up on that lawn before I take a newspaper to you. Go on, you get. Get up on that lawn.
Max was stunned. All he had on his mind was helping Mr. Harold. He had all this breeding, all this built-in know-how to put to use. The hat falling in the water was the perfect opportunity to be of service. So why is he so upset? He wondered.
Max! Front.
Yes, sir?
Sit.
Sit?
Have a seat.
Of course, sir. Thank you, sir.
Tell me about DeWalt Travel Associates.
Oh, yes. Ann DeWald herself called me to tell me that she hadn't received the luggage shipment. This was the second time, and she was headed to Europe for the big travel show. Couldn't wait for regular shipping, so I overnighted it to her.
I know all that part. What I want to know is why did you do it?
Why?
Yes, why?
Because when she called, shipping was on a shift change.
So?
So I couldn't get anyone to answer.
So?
So after I finished here, I went down to shipping myself, found the right line, and arranged for the overnight shipper to pick it up.
You're missing the point of my question. I don't care about all the hoops you jump through. I just want to know why did you do that?
Service, 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 sir.
Don't quote company policy to me, young man. There's a larger issue here.
I agree. In fact, I wanted to know if I could make a few departures from company guidelines, maybe for a 30-day period or so, track the results and see if the callback and referral margins go up.
And maybe we could set you up on your own floor. Hire support staff, create a new line item in the corporate budget. Get your own job figured out first, Max. Then you can start worrying about mine, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Harold wasn't really a bad man, you see. In fact, he was really quite average. He just had a certain way of looking at his job, and he wanted those who worked for him, all those who worked for him, to look at their jobs in just the same way.
Go get it, boy. Discipline, boy. Discipline.
And so,
Most
as
important
time went by,
quality of great hunting
Max
dog.
learned exactly
You gotta
what
learn it.
Mr. Harold wanted,
Even if it's
and
the
he
hard
did it.
way.
Likewise, Max put his all into following what seemed to be the real New World guidelines of customer service. And as time went by, he came to know exactly what Mr. Harold wanted,
You bought
and
the
he
voltage
gave it
adapters
to
to
him.
allow your research team to use their laptops when they're out of the country. Is that right? But you have to understand, it is our policy not to refund or replace after 30 days. I'd be happy to refer you to our customer service supervisor. What will he tell you? I suspect he'll tell you the very same thing, sir. Very well then, sir. We thank you and we appreciate your business. Not that we'll ever get any more.
What was that?
I'm sure we'll see more and more.
The days passed by. Things were going smoothly, just like Mr. Harold liked them to go. But then, one day...
It's a big day, boy. You're going out in the fields. You're going to learn from the pros. So, you're going to get a chance to finally show what you can do. Oh, it's a challenge, I admit. But like we always say around here, challenge is just an opportunity we didn't ask for. So I want you to go out there and remember everything you've learned. Everything I've taught you. There are old customers out there we haven't heard from in a long time. Old friends. And you're going to go out and retrieve them for me. You're finally going to get to do what you've been trained to do. So, get out the elbow grease, strap yourself in, and go get it.
The oration was meant to be motivating, no question, even inspiring. The best of intentions were attached to every word.
Howdy, boys. How y'all day? I'll go get my gun and I'll be right out, okay? Max, come on, get in the truck.
Max was truly excited to go out to the fields and flush out game, but he wouldn't leave the lawn. And Max learned quickly that no matter how sincerely he restated company policy to lost customers, they still had the same problems. Mr. Harold's lofty goals were not being achieved. Mr. Harold was perplexed.
Get in that truck.
At first, he tried encouragement.
Look, boy, I don't know what the problem is, but... See, you need to look at this like it's an adventure. That more than anything else is fun, because with each old customer you talk to on that phone comes an opportunity to make a new friend.
Yeah, but they all hate me. Oh, I remember you. No, you're the one who said no.
I understand, I do, but... See those guys? They want to go. They're ready to go. And see their dogs? Their dogs are ready to go. You don't see those dogs lying around with their chins on the ground, do you? The question I'm starting to ask myself now is, why am I paying you the kind of money I'm paying you, and this is what I get in return, huh? Can you answer me that? You are supposed to be the best that money can buy. And look at you. I give you your big chance, your big opportunity to show what you can do, and this is what you do with it? Come on! There's all that brains and education and ambition you walked in here with a few months ago.
So here we have Max, wondering why Mr. Harold was so angry with him when he finally learned to stay on the grass, no matter what. And Max wondering why, when he was doing his level best to implement the connection between company policy and customer service, was Mr. Harold so thoroughly disgusted with his work. Time went by. And one day, Mr. Harold's boss decided that what was lacking in his assignment to bring back old customers was teamwork. So he suggested to Mr. Harold that he throw a little party for all the customer service reps. Why don't you do it in your own backyard, he said. It'll give it that personal touch. And so he did.
Max, you haven't tried my famous ribs yet.
Well...
They'll melt in your mouth. Best thing you ever ate. My hunting dog, and I use the term loosely, loves them.
So, if the dog likes them, well, then I should like them. Makes sense. Thank you, sir.
Yes, well, I hope you're enjoying the party. Hey, everybody, come on down here and let me show you what I've been working on all summer.
The party was a real success. Mr. Harold was particularly pleased. I just needed to get these people to like me, he thought. Now, when I chew on them, they'll know it's nothing personal.
Yeah. Dandy, huh? Yep. Can't have a boat without a hat. All right? How do you like this? Took me 3 months. Sit here at your tiller. You all go on the party. You go on the party, I'll go change. Yeah, I'm fine. You know, just go on, I'll go change, and I'll be all right.
You must know something about that hat that I don't.
There was an interesting connection felt by Max and Max on that summer day, though neither of them really knew what it was. But nonetheless, fate was having her way on that day, proving that not all of the best ironies in life are reserved for stories in storybooks, as we might suppose. And time went by.